So just want to give a few minutes for people to jump on here and be a part of this conversation. And the aim is going to be to talk about suicide's lie. And if you are watching, I hope that you know that no matter how difficult a spot you are in, no matter how dark things seem for you, that there are better alternatives, there are better solutions. Um, they might feel more difficult in the moment, but they will be more rewarding in the end because rather than the end, perhaps today becomes the beginning for you where you make the choice to to choose life, to not buy the lie and not give in to the temptation to end things. As a pastor, one of the hardest services I ever had to conduct was the funeral of a young man who, at just 20 years of age, decided he could not move on. He could not take it anymore. And he decided to end his suffering by taking his life. The suffering that was magnified and multiplied by that decision rippled down through all those who knew and loved him. And that young man, dear friend, he just could not come come to the place where he realized that life was worth living, and to sit there and to try to console his mother and to sit with the family in that season was so sobering for me. I was in my mid 20s at the time. I was young, and I had never battled with any mental illness at the time, right? I wasn't diagnosed as bipolar at the time, but I also knew some realities that decisions are sometimes made, even strong decisions like suicide, that aren't definitive. They're not defining of that person. I believe this young man had a relationship with God. I believe that he had an emotional and a psychological and a physical problem that he could not overcome. And what I wish though, through it all, and what I learned is how being alone and feeling alone is sometimes the hardest thing people face. So if you know people that are struggling and have that desire to to end their life, they have spoken about self-harm, they have spoken about taking matters into their own hands and just ending it. I just want to encourage you, first, just sit with them. Don't try to answer them. Don't try to reason with them initially. Initially, just sit there and be with them. Be with them, listen to them, look at them, and not with judgmental eyes, not with condemning eyes, but with comforting presence, with an assurance that, hey, I don't know what's happening either. You don't, I know this, you don't have to know the answers because honestly, you probably don't know the answers. But what they don't need is just kind of cheap words of, "Hey, it's gonna be okay, it's all right." No, they need your help. They need you to come alongside them and say, "Hey, we're going to figure this out together." Um, Most likely, they need professional help as well. They need you to walk with them into a doctor's visit. They need you to walk alongside them and speak, "Hey, no matter what comes up, no matter what we find out, we are we are in this with you." That's huge. I just know the young man that took his life, and it's been now 20 years. I know that his family is still to this day. They just have so many regrets about, I wish I would have been there. And I don't know if anyone on here has ever walked alongside someone that is battling with personal um, interaction with someone that was ready to take their life. But I do know that the more you can be there beside them and be present with them, the better they will have a chance to emerge. And they also need to see, too, that if they're able to fight through this, then they'll absolutely be able to be a voice for others. They'll be able to share, "Hey, this is how I escaped this world." I know for me, post 2020 and my own bipolar diagnosis, coming down off of mania, coming down off of a season where I thought that I saw my father, who had been dead for 38 years, season I just had a detached from reality, hypermania season. Well, with that came a depressive low, came medication that was pretty heavy. And for the first time in my life, I started having suicidal ideations. And I'm just grateful that I had the presence of my family, my wife, my boys, to remind me that, "Hey, Dad, you're loved. We're here with you. We're beside you through this." And again, nobody said anything magical. Nobody said the right answer. They just simply were present and they were consistent in my life. And I think those are two things that you need to be. You need to be present and consistent with those that are struggling. A lot of times it can be easy to be present for a moment, but not be consistent through the months. And that's what we need. That's what they need. It's not, especially if they're dealing with mental health, they don't need moments of rescue necessarily, though there are definitely times where they're going to need that. But they need months of presence and consistency and love. They need to see that they have purpose and value. They need to see that they have um, family that care for them, love them dearly. And as they begin to see that, they will recognize, wow, I hope they will begin to recognize, wow, where my mind was taking me is not, it's not true. The things I was thinking are not true. I also want to encourage you as you walk with individuals that might be facing it is just simply asking questions like, you know what, where are they finding peace and joy? I know one of the places for me is right here, sitting out at this lake and just watching nature and life. Um, it is definitely the a place of peace, and yeah. And as I learn to try to navigate how to channel activity, This is the first live I've ever done. Obviously, I'm gonna learn how to remove people. Uh, yeah, we'll remove that person. So it's okay. If people don't want to be in here for right reasons, then I'm okay to remove them. I would love to interact with anybody in the messages that would like to talk and speak about actual matters that matter. Uh, as I read the comments, 676767, I am 44 car. The purpose of being on here is not just to talk. I'd love to answer questions, speak with anybody um, that has any questions. How do you or message talk? Okay, you can do for Christmas. All right, so we'll get rid of. So I don't know if this is how you build a following in real time on YouTube. I know that suicide is a real issue, and I know that if you're someone that is buying the lie that it's easier with you gone, it's easier if you make this decision to take your life, it's absolutely just not true. There are people that need you, that desperately love you and care for you and want you to be uh, well, wants you to find life, and healing isn't all that's available to you. I do hope that you find healing, but the end of finding healing is finding help, in the sense of finding out that you can be a help to others, that your healing process and your health can become a healing process. Barry Bolton, 1967 U. So I'm curious, Barry, maybe you can tell me, do people ever get on here and actually have genuine conversations, or is it a lot of people that just scroll through and type random messages? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Learning how to do this YouTube live, and if you are here because you actually want to hear me sharing about uh, not buying the lie of suicide, then let me know. Otherwise, we'll just continue to wait